you said something to me early on, and it was like a punch in the gut. You said, if you can't afford this, then you don't have a viable business. And I was like, wow, you're right. I want to get to a place where I can afford this. I have gotten there. I found a way to sign up. Best thing I've done in my 9 years.
All right, well, here we are. We are live. Well, as Fern always says, we're not live. Who's got a train running through the background right now? Who's got the train? Is that you, Brian? All right. Well, this is a very special episode because we've got current and one graduate, that's you, Brian, from Affiliate U. And the reason I asked all of you to be on, or I suppose you all kind of answered my call of who wants to come on, is because you've all had successful rate increases at your affiliate. And I think one of the big things that Fern and I want to see happen in the affiliate space is owners getting paid the appropriate amount, which allows their coaches to get paid, which ultimately allows CrossFit to grow and memberships to flourish. And I think a lot of affiliate owners are hesitant to raise rates, afraid to. And I hope by the end of this episode, hearing from, how many we got on here? 4, 5, 7 different owners, that it's not only something that you shouldn't be afraid of, but it's something we can encourage. So let's go around the horn. We'll get your name, the name of your affiliate, and where that affiliate is, and then if you can, how you found out about Affiliate University in the first place. Let's start off with you, Anne, who's dealing with some numbing if she's drooling on if you're watching this on YouTube. She had the dentist appointment this morning.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Feldstein. I am one of the owners of CrossFit Sanctuary in New Hyde Park, New York. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary in August. That was amazing, and we made it by the skin of our teeth after COVID. We heard about Affiliate U through Louie, the owner of CrossFit Cow Harbor, and bringing it first full circle, he was my first ever CrossFit coach at CrossFit Revenge.
Awesome. So
he was the one that shared with my partner, Bernard Henry, about Affiliate U, and we immediately signed up.
Awesome. Also on Long Island, Mike?
Yes, sir. My name's Mike from Long Island. I own Bayport CrossFit. We have our 9-year anniversary this month, so we're doing all the member appreciation week and all that fun stuff we learned from you guys. I heard about you. I was in the Facebook group, like the CrossFit affiliate owners Facebook group.
That's why we
Facebook.
recommend going for advice. Yep, that's great, Mike.
And some creepy guy crept into my inbox, Jason Ackerman, saying,
hey, you get creepers in there.
So I'm new to that group, and I'm like, when I first found the group, I was like, this is awesome. All these CrossFit owners from around the world, I could get so much good data. But then I realized it was weird. Like, people are spouting off weird stuff in there. And then Ackerman kind of swooped me out of there, and I found you guys, which has been real, real good.
Yeah, literally like an angel, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, no, come with me, Mike. Come with me out of this.
Yeah, you rescued me. Craziness.
All right, we got our couple here, Micah and Rachel.
Hey guys, Micah and Rachel Price.
Were you guys the homecoming king and queen, by the way?
No, we actually let somebody else win. We did put the crown and tiara on first.
All right, then handed it off nicely.
Yeah, we own CrossFit Artifact in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, Center Township, and that's just about 20 minutes north of Pittsburgh. Everybody knows where that's at, so we use that as a landmark. Anybody on this side of the state says Pittsburgh. And I've been coaching for about 4 years, but we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, July 28th. And I've been listening to you guys since you started the podcast, you and Fern. And
you still signed up.
And we still signed up. Yeah. I mean, I told her about you guys a long time ago. I was in sales for a long time, and part of my morning routine was I would listen to an audio book while I was in the shower. I would listen to a CrossFit coaching based podcast on the way to work and on the way home from work. And you guys were just part of my daily routine. So, just kind of getting to know you guys without actually meeting you. And then I just realized that you guys were truly about the affiliate owner and about the coaches well before it was a program that you guys offered. So and considering you guys versus everybody else, I realized that you had more skin in the game in terms of, everyone says, hey, we've owned gyms, and everyone has their twist on it, but you guys genuinely give a crap about CrossFit in its purity. You didn't back off when all that stuff happened a few years ago. You still held the line, and that's where we were too. So we lined up with you guys on so many different levels when it came time to solidify our business and make this thing able to stand the test of time. Starting, post-COVID, people thought we were a little crazy opening a gym, but if you do it right and you have the right support group, this is a business model that's driven by helping people and helping people that help people. So you guys have been living it for a long time, and that's why we signed up.
Yeah, well, appreciate that. Rachel, did you want to add anything?
I did have to put my foot down and tell him we were signing up that day. I mean, I had to make multiple phone calls to get everything lined up. But I pressured him for the first 8 months that we had our business running. So it was
your goal, Rachel, to sign up?
No, but yes.
No, but I was I harassed him until we made the decision that it was.
No, and I genuinely appreciated the way, because we put our feelers out there. We wanted to see what it was all about. We met with Fern. We met with you guys, and we just figured out, okay, this is something. It wasn't an if, but a when. And the follow-up was no pressure. It was just hey, we're still thinking about you. Thanks for reaching out. And it was just this constant, drip campaign, essentially. But it was personal. You actually were just hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's coming up in the future. You should get in now. And it finally worked out, and we did it. So
nice. Sorry, my wife came home. I had to go into hiding in this bedroom. JR?
Hey guys, JR Shortle, OV CrossFit. It's in St. Clairsville, Ohio, so the southeast point of Ohio. We're actually just an hour southwest of Pittsburgh. And so,
are you that close to Pittsburgh, huh?
Yeah.
In Ohio, you never think of that.
Yeah, we're actually closer to Pittsburgh than we are Columbus. We've been an affiliate for 10 years. I found Best Hour through your podcast. And when I had my initial conversation with you back in probably February, where I'm at with my coaching certification level, I had said, I've been asking myself about who's mentoring me. I'm doing a lot of mentoring of other coaches. And so I needed that mentorship, not only for coaching, but also for a business. And so it was a great opportunity. I think I'll just kind of reiterate the things that have already been said, that the fact that you guys have been in the business for a long time, you are very passionate about it, and all of your practices fall in line with the practices that we try to follow here at OVC. So
awesome. Our one graduate, Brian.
Hey, yeah, I'm Brian. I am now owner of Eureka CrossFit, and we're out of St. Louis, Missouri. We opened back in 2016, but I am the third owner since opening. And so I came on in 2020 as a partner. And so that's when I heard you guys advertise on the podcast Best Hour about this new affiliate U, and started talking about it with my partners. And it took a lot of convincing and some consulting with you. And it finally came down to, like you said, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. And there was, I think, a lot that actually needed to be kind of rearranged and changed and fixed up. And we've had a lot of good success since.
Yeah, and you wound up taking over the entire box.
Yes, so now I'm sole owner now.
And last but not least, Eric.
Yes, Eric from Fairwinds CrossFit in Annapolis. We've been an affiliate for about 5 years. And I feel like our finding affiliate U was less romantic than some of these other stories. I was in a Wawa, I had to use the bathroom.
It sounds like it's about to get romantic.
Saw this number that said for a good time, and sure enough, Jason, it was beautiful.
There it was. We're very popular in the Wawa.
That's guerrilla marketing, right? Isn't that what that is?
So, well, let's get to business here. All of you have done a rate increase, and I think what's really cool is from the longest tenured affiliate that's Ann at Sanctuary to Mike and Rachel, only a year into it, there's never a right or wrong time. And in fact, we believe annually you should be increasing your rates, right? Like there's nothing in your life that doesn't go up every year. And especially if you're listening to this, in 2022, inflation, right, is at its peak. Like everything is getting more expensive. But then for some reason, box owners choose to be, I would say, martyrs, as far as like, well, I can't increase rates and I can't be that owner, almost like I'm not allowed to make more money. Did any of you have those thoughts before the increase went through? Did any of you feel like that?
Absolutely. Very much so. Yeah. You have kind of like, personal relationships with all these people, and we're always trying to help them in some sort of way. And then you kind of feel like a bad guy because, oh, Mike, you're always trying to help me. Now you're trying to raise my prices. Now, keep in mind, this is what's in my mind. This is in my mind that they're thinking this, but really it's me being in my own way. Just like we tell athletes when we're coaching them, like, don't get in your own way. Like you're projecting these feelings. They're not real. So it's kind of, that's how I felt. Like I had so many personal relationships with them, and it's just the thought of telling them you have to pay me more money. Then I think like, oh, they're going to think you're only in this for the money. You don't really care about me. So I have all these of my own fears and projections, but it was all false. It was all false. If it's put out there in a certain way, it's received very well. And then all these years I didn't do it because of my own fears. Now I know I should have done it years and years back. I should have stepped out of my own way. And
it's a tough balance because you're right, Mike. I think for all of us as owners, you have 100 members, you have 100 friends.
Yeah.
And it was a big learning moment for me. Nothing that I read or heard. I was having a conversation with a former member when I had my box in Albany, and he was like, "I thought we were friends," and I without thinking was like, "Well, for friends, you should have no problem paying me."
Right. That's how it should go. Like, I paid a lot of money for this equipment you're using every day. Like, you don't know what I spend on the gym every month. I'm constantly buying new stuff. But right, yes, they don't think that way.
I don't know who posts. I want to say it was Sin from Afro Brutality. I think I've seen his post a few times where it's like, you'll spend all this money on X, Y, and Z, and then it's like your friend's small business. You're like, can I get a free thing? Right? Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting. True. Did anybody else have those feelings?
Absolutely. For us, Mike said it well. They're all our friends. We know these people and their families and what they're going through, and it's difficult. It's a hurdle to overcome when you're going to increase the pricing, and it's the story that we tell ourselves. Like, we know this person and we know they're tight with money and how are they going to be, and et cetera, et cetera. For us, we were in a unique experience. Maybe others have been in that as well. When we opened our box 10 years ago, and ever so hopeful and green and all of that, we had offered the first 100 members to join our gym a locked-in rate for the life of the gym. And in theory, it's wonderful, right?
Good old grandfathering in, your original members.
Right.
Many people listening have done or are currently doing the same thing.
Don't do it. Okay, let's start with that. Don't do it. It sounds wonderful, and you're so excited to have 100 members, and you're giving them a discounted rate to begin with, and then you promise them this, and I would imagine that we're all in industrial spaces, and for us, where we are in Long Island, an industrial space is a premium, and it was just not sustainable. And the hard part is this was a promise that we made to people that have supported us from the very beginning. But with your help and Fern's help, we crafted a letter.
Mostly, to be clear, mostly my help. But go on.
We explained that in order to keep our doors open, we would just need to raise their rates. And
and going back to what we said, it's like you're charging, say, $100. Your rent has gone up in those 10 years. Like it probably doubled.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but here you have the same people. Like it. For those listening, like, I'm not a business master. I've read a couple books, but I'm pretty sure almost every book will tell you, like, that's not sustainable.
It's not. And like I said, we went into it and we were so excited, and, we thought that was something that we could maintain, and it just wasn't. And we have had a lot of members with us from the beginning, which we're so grateful for. And everyone received the increase, and the kind words that they said back to us it was just astonishing. That many of the emails brought tears to my eyes. That, they expected it. They are glad that we did it. They know that we need to keep our doors open, and that things cost a lot more than they did 10 years ago. And there was absolutely not one person had an issue with our rate increase.
Yeah, and I think, similar to Mike, you had the same kind of mentality. Like, it's fear, and they're going to leave or they're going to be mad, and literally everybody was showing you the excitement and ultimately then showing you the value that you have on their lives. And also, I had to do, when I first opened in 2007, it was $80 for life. And it was like 2012, 13. I'm like, we can't, like, my rent's gone up. Equipment's, like, back then we were like making equipment. Right now I'm like buying rigs and whatnot, like from Rogue. And, we had members paying the new rates. And the other aspect to that from an ownership perspective is you don't want to look at two members standing in your affiliate differently because one's paying 160, 170 current rate and one's grandfathered in. It's inevitable. You're going to give a different amount of attention. And
that's a good point. That's true. Like, I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I don't know if this is like I'm bad for
you
this.
make them wear a sign with how much they pay when you
have to wear it on their back. And I overlook them a little bit. If it's like a busy class and I'm coaching, I kind of like treat them a little, well, I used to before we got everybody on the same level, but I was like, I'm not going to give this person like a ton of attention because they're paying $99. That guy's paying $155. And that's bad.
It is bad. I mean, like I said, I think like it's inevitable. I don't think you're a bad person for doing it. I think it's just what happens. You're running a business.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question there? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. I don't know if it has to do with what they pay or more the fact that they're a long-term member, that you believe they have a better understanding. So I just don't want you to beat yourself up for that, because if you're a coach...
No, let him beat himself up.
I'm not losing sleep. I'm just...
But
listen, if you're like my coaches and if you're like my partners, they would do anything for any of our members. And I can guarantee they do not look at them. This one pays X and this one pays X. They don't. But if someone's been with us for 10 years and someone's been with us for 6 months or a year.
Like if we run out of rowers, I'm like, you're running today.
Yes.
You're paying $99. Hit the road.
Get your ass outside.
No, and I think that's really the bigger issue as well. Like for a lot of affiliates with these, whether it's grandfathered in or just not everyone is paying the same, like you at some point, whether it's equipment or spacing, it's going to cost you money because the people that are paying less are still signing up for class, potentially pushing out people that want to join or are currently, like, you have members that are maybe paying full price and get shut out of one too many classes, and they're like, I'm leaving. I'm going to go to a different affiliate.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have grandfathered in members before we move on? JR, did you?
Yeah, we did. To give a little context, I had increased our membership rates for right before I joined Affiliate U, only for new members. So I had legacy rates and new rates starting in 2022, and we'll get into it a little bit further, but that's no longer going to happen moving into 2023.
So what will happen? Go ahead.
Everyone's moving to a standard rate, but on top of that, some of the things that I'm taking away from Affiliate U is the first thing we did was we implemented membership agreements. So we have the transparency sheet for everyone, which is pretty standard now. We are also moving to membership plans. So month to month is a certain rate, 6-month agreement is a certain rate, and 12-month agreement is a certain rate. And so it was a big adjustment, but giving them advance notice and continuing to reinvest in the business is where we show them where that money's going. So,
well, and I think something that we definitely want to get into here is getting your members up to a certain rate is kind of the first step. right? And then what JR just alluded to is it becomes now, I think in the CrossFit world, the word contract has become a dirty word. Like we can't say that. We can't have like, and it's because the connotation is wrong. Like contract is not, hey, we're going to chase after you. Like you can't cancel. You're on the hook for the next, like Bally's. I remember when I was a kid, it was like, you're on the hook for the rest of your life. Like you owe $10 for the rest of your life.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. No, it's, hey, you committed to this contract. If you need to leave for whatever reason, life, or you're just not satisfied here, cool. There's a difference in what you agreed to and what this rate is. You pay the difference and it's all good. But I think the value of contracts for box owners is you need to be able to have a good idea of what money is coming in. You need to be able to budget. And without contracts, you can't do that. And for any box owner that one day down the road wants to sell their gym, which, by the way, if you're running a successful business, should potentially be in the cards. If you sold your gym and everyone can leave the next day, that's not a good business model. No one's going to buy that.
I have some hard data for that. Literally, I'm in the process of learning this valuable lesson. So when I signed up with you guys, I made a mistake and I went
signed
on
up
my own on one of the modules.
Oh, hey, Mike, I see you still commenting in the Facebook group, for the record.
It's like a train wreck. I can't look away. I gotta get in there.
I screenshot it, and I have a folder that I will share with you one day.
I just looked. I can't stop. I'm sorry. Well, here's where I messed up. And if anyone's listening, do exactly what the program says. I'm definitely of the mindset of I know it all. For sure. I'm okay with saying that. I'm really and I've owned the business almost 10 years. So I'm always like, no, I know. So it's hard when somebody else is telling you what to do. But I had to get over that. And I did in most ways. But one thing I didn't do, what you guys said, I decided right after I signed up with you, I was going to go month to month only. Now, keep in mind, I had done contracts the whole time I was open. I've done it forever. But for some reason, I was going to change it up. I'm only going to do month to month. In my mind, we're going to provide such a great service, nobody's leaving because it's going to be amazing, right?
Good.
It was so wrong. So where I say I have hard data is I did that about January. And I just changed back to contracts, month to month, 3 months, 6 months, about 2-3 weeks ago, because I was at a standstill. I wasn't growing. The growth stopped because no one had a contract. So I would get some, lose some, get some. The churn started to get bigger because there were no commitments in place. I literally, like hard data, from January to now, I've been pretty much at the same exact number, a little up, little down, little up. And this has never happened in my 9 years. Usually there's big swings one way or the other, but I've never seen anything like this. I'm like, I can't get ahead because those people who don't really commit, they just leave and they're not tied in for 6 months. And I don't even have a chance to get them involved in our community.
And that's another aspect of contracts, right? It just, even though we know, hey, if life happens and you need to leave, there's an out. There's a little bit more of a barrier than simply, imagine, I assume most of you, if not all of you, have Netflix or some sort of TV subscription, right? Listeners as well. Imagine if every month you got an email like, do you want to renew? You would think about it at least, like, how much should I watch on Netflix? Or can I only go with one of these? Or should my kid be watching 8 hours of Cocomelon, right? So, by the way, Brian, your kids watch Cocomelon, it's the same song. They just changed the words. It's driving me nuts. I tell my wife, I'm like, this, whether it's eating your peas or working out or doing your hair, it's all the same tune. So anyway, you would be like, I'm not going to renew this month, right? So I think that's a value there. But Brian, kicking it to you, if I remember correctly, the full team wasn't necessarily in support of this, and I think affiliates have to deal with that a lot, whether it's another owner or support from the staff itself. We have some people whose staff doesn't want them to increase. I'm like, well, cool. It's ultimately your call. You can't let your staff challenge you. Like, they can challenge you, but ultimately it's your decision. How did you navigate that, Brian?
Well, just like we've talked about, asking for money is, can be an awkward conversation for anybody. And even just recently, I would say I had a coach who just became a coach. And so we offer free memberships to our coaches. And then I forgot to turn off her renewal membership. And then so it had went through and billed, but then she felt awkward asking me about, hey, don't coaches or have a free membership? And so it took her a few days before she actually came to me and let me know. And of course, let me fix it. But yeah, with my partners, just like everyone else, asking for money can be hard. But it came down to really just looking at the hard data that we could see. We can't make this a profitable, successful business, even to, pay coaches, pay ourselves, or buy new equipment. And so we just had those, conversations, looking at the money, looking at where we wanted to go. And then, we kind of devised a phased plan. We didn't feel like we could make a huge jump at that time because there was a lot of change and transition. So we try to keep things somewhat simple. But as a group, we decided we'll make, a small increase. We'll put out the transparency letter, let everybody know. And it's really, it comes down to explaining what the value that our members are going to get. And so we had a really good response from that. And a lot of people, a lot of members were responding saying, I'm surprised you guys didn't do this earlier. And so they weren't, for the most part, upset or shocked by it.
Yeah, and I think that's a common sentiment, like, oh, I can't believe you didn't do this earlier. And it's one thing to explain the value, and I think a lot of members don't necessarily see the value or explain where your expenses have gone up, rent has gone up, equipment has gone up, etc. But we also want to avoid being apologetic. You shouldn't be apologizing. I think I often ask the box owners, like, what would happen if you closed? And you would have like 100 lost people. They'd be like, what am I going to do? Like, sure, they might find another affiliate, but it would literally be like stripping away their home. Like, this is their home. This is their community. And I think if you posed it from that perspective of like, we're going to close, they're like, no, take more money. Like, but I don't want to, like, keep this thing open. Right. And obviously you want to avoid it being a charity. But point is, like Mike said, like Ann said, like you've said, it's like your members are willing to pay more, as long as you show them that value, which should be the coaching. And I mean, I know for you, Brian, you're a great coach. Your staff was great as far as the coach's development goes. So, I mean, you were always leveling up the coaching staff. Mike and Rachel, you guys were open for a year.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make sure we're clear about this. Rachel was very on top of everything, detail-oriented, multiple drafts going back and forth, double-checking the punctuation, the grammar, everything. Yeah. So luckily you have her on your side, Micah. But
keeps me on track.
It keeps you on track. What was the rate increase like for you guys being, Ann open 10 years, Mike open 9 years, Brian taking over another affiliate that had been open for 5 or 6 years. You guys literally just opened. We're like, here are the rates. And now a year later, they're going up.
Right. I mean, it was just that easy. We just sent out the letter and everyone was like, okay. So, I mean, we didn't have any questions, but back to what you just said about if you were closing. I mean, I had a member come up that prepaid for, 6 months. And the conversation was, how much do I owe you for the difference? And I said, well, you prepaid. So, and he's like, no, you don't understand. I want you to make as much money as possible so you can stay open for as long as possible. And we had, a little bit back and forth, but I really think that if you provide, our goal is to provide such a valuable
And that was within a year, though, you showed this guy the value you're providing.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, just the daily value, the monthly value, I want everyone at the end of the month to think that they got way more than they paid for. So in building out the value of the coaching and the accountability, the community, the other things that we have that are part of our membership, with all the appreciation things that we do, it's gone a long way. And we sent out the email. We had a couple people just ask like, hey, so what's that? And, one person, we made that transition over to the 4-week billing cycle. And we had one question about that just because it was hitting on a different day. But overall, it just was smooth.
Yeah, and we can talk about the 4-week billing cycle as well. But, I think that's amazing that, you're showing people the value there within, this guy's there for less than a year. And like we said, no, like I need this in my life. And I think that's a huge part of it. And, he's like, I want you to do well. I want the business to do well. All affiliate owners listening, like if you go to the local Starbucks, I think they're paying baristas like $20 an hour these days, right? So that's nearly like $750 a week to make coffee. And I believe Starbucks has like great incentivizing programs like college, etc. We're not talking about affiliate owners making millions and millions of dollars, right? We're talking like, hey, can I live a comfortable lifestyle as well, like you all live, like the doctors and attorneys like that show up to your box driving nice cars? Like, why am I not allowed to live that way as well? I'm providing equal value to this community and world that you guys are. Some might say more so, like I'm here stopping people from having to go to the doctor because I guarantee the person you're talking about, Micah, had a tremendous impact on their health. That's probably the most important thing. And whether it's physical health or even, how many of you have members that are like, I know I do, for my mentality, like, don't expect me to take care of my wife or my child if I don't get to work out. Right? Like,
oh yeah. And would you guys agree like there's even another side to this where if a member approaches you and they're up in arms and they're like, this is bullshit, maybe we don't want them in the gym anyway, right? Because,
well, I think you should ask that to the Facebook group, actually, Mike.
I'm going to post that later. Oh, man, I got to delete that. I got to leave that group. Hey, I found you from it, so it's not all bad.
That's right. We have one good thing.
What Mike just said, for our founding members, we've had 2 increases before the last round, which was just the most significant increase. We did actually have someone at the start of the pandemic who just lost his mind on us in regards to the increase and just everything.
Bye, right? It's like, this was good.
Yeah, and he was really rude to one of my partners, who he is the nicest man in the world, my partner. And both of my partners are. They are gentlemen.
Steven's a recent grandpa, by the way. So
yes, I know. Yes. And Steven, he's the nicest person in the world, as is Bernie. And as am I. So when Bernie and I heard...
That's to be determined, Dan.
That's to be determined, right.
That's not what I heard.
When Bernie and I heard about how poorly Steven was treated by this person, we didn't even hesitate for a second. We actually ended the relationship. We told him he was no longer welcome across the sanctuary.
Yeah, and on this note, and I want to hear from Eric. Eric's been quiet over there, but Mike, on your point there, you will have members that object to this, and obviously the way they handle it is how the owner should handle it, right? At the end of the day, Fern and I remind you guys, like, this is your discretion. You have members that a $5 or $10 increase does truly impact their lives, right? It's far and few in between, but they're out there, right? I will tell you, $20 is probably the limit you should increase at any one time. And most people can figure out a way to cover that in their life, whether it's, I need to make my coffee at home, or I got to cut out one date night a week, like prioritize. But you will have some people that are already doing that. And at the end of the day, it's your decision on what you do with them. We're not saying like turn a blind eye to those people, but if they come in and are, for lack of better terms, like assholes about it, then it's ultimately your call. And I think more affiliates need to do that. You have toxic members, right? This is another topic, but every affiliate, you have 100 people, you're bound to have 1 or 2 toxic people. And I promise you, if that person is bothering you, the owner, they're bothering your staff and they're bothering other members, and you're going to lose your other high quality members because you're afraid to get rid of one person. And we've had to navigate that with many people. Once you get rid of them, I can tell you, and if you guys probably felt this, it's like a weight off your shoulders. like, oh my God, I enjoy being here again. Like they were actually preventing you from enjoying your own business. But Eric, let's hear from you. You've been quiet over there. Looks like it's cold, by the way, down there.
It is. It's a little. I'm okay. I'll be all right.
You doing all right? You want to talk? We can completely change topics. You want to talk about your life? Is everything okay?
I've got this rash. Yeah, I'll tell you, when we decided to do the price increase, I don't think I was that hesitant at all, because we'd had the same price for about 2 or 3 years. And so I was like, well, it's probably time, because our lease is about to go up anyway. And for the most part, people were really receptive to it. And by receptive, I mean, they were like, all right, cool. And they probably thought it was coming at some point. If anything, there were a handful of people that had been paying for membership not coming. And despite having the conversations like, hey, what do you need? Let's get you back in the gym and all that. And then when they saw there was going to price increase, they're like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel my membership because I'm not coming anyway. And so that, if anything, like, it prompted a few of those. But I'll tell you, I think my biggest hesitancy was we were always big on like no contracts, because we don't want you to be locked into something. And if you get to a point where you don't want to be here, and then you feel like you're stuck in this contract, and then you're just like, you're a cancer in the gym because you're in a bad mood and you're probably poo-pooing on us, because I know people that were in that situation too. They had a 6-month contract. They were done after 3, but had to work out those last 3 and were just miserable doing it. And then after talking with Affiliate U, they're like, well, here's how it actually works. You don't owe them for 3 more months of CrossFit. Just pay the difference that you saved by not being month to month. And I remember, like, this light went on that was just, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. That seems like really fair. And if someone's mad about that, then, like, fine, I can live with you being mad about that. And so, but it was going to people and saying, we now have these, you have this month to month. And I think there's contract does 100% have a negative connotation. You hear contract and you think like used car salesman. But sometimes too, that word agreement, like that, oh, it's an agreement. Okay, that makes sense, right? And it's it's, if you do the longer one, it's not cheaper, it's less, it's more value, right? You don't say cheaper, there's more value. And I remember taking that stuff too from years that I worked in retail. There's certain ways that you present it that people are like, oh, okay, they feel warm and fuzzy, and like you are taking care of them. And when they look at it as like look, this is just if you stick around longer, I'm going to save you a few extra bucks because I like you. And I'm like, oh, okay, we are friends, good. And I think that was the biggest thing that I was hesitant on. And then when people were like super receptive to that, and then some people were just like, I don't mind paying more for the freedom of month to month. They didn't bat an eye on it. It was like, well, that's fine too.
Which, by the way, we want you here that long because results aren't going to come in 1 month, or they will, but it's going to take you 3, 6, 9 months to really see that trajectory and those results come into play.
And what I've gotten since doing that too is a couple people, they're like, when they first come in through onboarding, and then they go, well, I'll sign up for the month to month and kind of see how it goes. And then I can always change, a couple months later if I want to do long term. Yeah, absolutely. And within like a month or two, they're like, can I do the 26 week? And so give them a month or two, and then they decide, this is what I need, this is what I want. And now you've got them. And so it's really been nothing but a positive thing for the gym. And if you're doing it right, people won't hesitate. And the people that have a problem with it, what we've said before, like maybe this isn't the place for them anyway, because don't they want to see you flourish and grow?
And that's what you want, right? It's where you throw this word community out there, and it's like, well, I mean, if you really want to see your community flourish, you want to see the owners and the leaders of this community do well. And I think, one, with people signing up for that month to month to begin with, that's just a challenge for you. Like, now I need to show them the value they're going to get here and the coaching they're going to get here. So it just forces you to be on your game. And I do think part of the reason that contracts have that negative connotation in the CrossFit space is like, especially back in the day, like CrossFit is like anti-establishment, if you will, right? And it's like everything against what would be the norm of a business is, you're going to open these fancy, shiny gyms. Well, we're going to open, in a racquetball court and in industrial, areas that there's no signs and it's dirty and there's chalk and they have contracts. What's that?
No air conditioning. No.
Air conditioning. What's that? We don't have water here. All right. All of those things. But at the same time, it's like, well, we've also seen advancements in I mean, like I said, in 2007, I've said this enough times, but I'm literally the second ever buyer on Rogue. Like, and I'm not handy, I vividly remember my pull-up bars coming off the wall and being like, oh, that's dangerous. Like, this is not a good situation, right? And then Rogue comes out. So we want to be anti-establishment, but then we have these companies like Rogue, and we have insurance companies, and like we need to level up as well. And part of that is we can't be afraid to evolve. Yeah. Rachel, you're back. I thought we offended you.
Yeah,
no,
we had a guy just randomly walk in because our garage door's open and was inquiring about the gym, and
See, that's what happens. What happens. You guys need to just sit there like this in front of your garage doors.
Some of our friends have literally walked in.
Yeah, well, we're not supposed
to be here. They've come in and we're just like, this was just meant to be. So
I was like, okay. I was like, this is really a weird situation, but we're gonna just talk outside for 2 seconds, and then.
I'm going to go around real quick. If you guys can think back, you send out the email, the rate increase email. If I just run it around, how many negative responses did you get when you sent it out? So let's go around. Let's start off with you, Brian. How many did you get?
I can't remember one negative response.
So 0 would be the answer.
0 would be my answer.
All right. How about you, Mike?
0.
0 from Mike. And?
0.
0. And I will send you guys all the money I told you guys after for saying 0. No, these are real people, and we'll put all of your names. This is for Cody's knowledge. All your names and affiliates in the link below. So if anybody wants to hit these guys up, I assume it's cool. Everyone is kind of around Pittsburgh. So if you're near the Pittsburgh area, you can visit Pittsburgh or Long Island. You can visit these guys. JR, how many for you?
Same, 0.
I'd like to hear somebody had 1. No, nobody.
And I've sent 2 increases. The change
within about 13 months.
Yeah.
Short term.
And nothing.
Micah, Rachel,
same, 0.
0. Eric, did you get any?
I'll say that I had we'll call it -3, because I think there were a few people that they did the 52 week and then we're like, are you sure we're giving you enough? Like, we'll pay more. And I was like, I mean, you can if you want.
And I'm shocked, quite honestly. Like, I thought a couple of you would have, like, I would say the most is like 2 or 3. And what I tell people is, like, you'll get a couple people. Like, first of all, you'll send out the rate increase, and like they say in media, like, no news is good news, right? If no one responds, that's a good sign. No one is getting a rate increase email immediately angry and sitting on that. Like, we live in a time where it's like immediate response, posting it on, I hate Eric on my social media, right? Like, how dare they? So they're going to respond right away. And typically it's like 2 or 3 people, if that, obviously. And usually it's more like, hey, Eric, can we talk about this? Okay, now I understand. Cool. And maybe one of them every so often is like, hey, this really does impact me. I'm a single parent, or I'm this or that. Like, and that's at your discretion, again, to work through. But I'm shocked that of the 6 affiliates represented here, literally 0. I hope that people are listening, whether or not they want to. I mean, I do think we help with the draft, like whether it's me or Fern, we try to get our eyes on every draft that goes out. But I think if you're listening and you don't want to sign up for Affiliate U, by all means, send out a rate increase. This is the time of year. This will go up within a week or 2. Send out your draft now, make it effective January 1, and then every January 1 from here on out, pick a percentage, 3 to 5%, and make that increase. Your numbers don't have to be perfect, 165, 175. In time with a random percentage increase, they'll get a little funky, and that's okay. But I think this is an opportunity for you guys to make a difference. Anybody willing to kind of say what it meant to the bottom line? Like, I don't want to get too deep into the numbers, but for any of you, did it have enough of an impact that it's like I can pay a coach or buy equipment, Brian?
Yeah, so I think when I came on as a partner in August 2020, we didn't take any pay for, I think, until I started paying myself as a coach the following May or June. So almost a full year.
And
just for coaching. Yeah, and I was coaching 15 to 20 hours a week. and there's no owner pay. We were really just trying to focus on reinvesting it back into the gym. And then with the rate increases, we're actually starting to pay at that time, even just 2 coaches, myself and if you remember, Marty.
Yeah.
And then
Marty
from there,
great job in the coach development.
Yeah. And then so now we're at 9 coaches, and 7 of them are paid for all of their work. And I have actually some decent take-home pay.
That's great. And I think, for a lot of affiliate owners, they're like, how do I get good coaches? I'm like, well, are you paying them? No. Well, let's do a rate increase. We can't do that. And it's like this never-ending cycle, like Mike kind of spoke about earlier. And it's like, it's a negative cycle or it's positive. Like, we're doing a rate increase. Now we're paying our coaches. Now the members are happier. Now I can do another rate increase in a year. Like, all of those things play off one another. So I'm really glad to hear that for you, Brian. Anybody else?
We're in a cycle of it being an expensive hobby. And so honestly, the business was not at a place where we could, but we reinvested and we made it happen.
Yeah, I would say for me, it was even earlier than that, just recognizing the numbers side by side of a simple $10 increase per member and how much money I was leaving out there by using those old rates. And so that's an echo bike, right, to me. Or like you said, being able to pay your staff for things, or being able to reinvest it other ways, or being able to pay yourself a little bit more just by making that simple adjustment. And so that was a big shock to me. Is like, wow, just $10 more per person is going to be a big value add every month for the business.
Yeah, and I think if you're listening, like, do that math. Like, whether it's 50 people and it's $500, or 100 people and it's $1,000, and yes, you can look at it in an echo bike, but you can also look at it in, if I can bring in an additional $500, that's 20 plus hours of coaching. Like, I can we open these affiliates to help people, but also because we're entrepreneurs and we want to control our own lives, and then we lose control of that. Like, there's no sense in having a business if you can't spend time with your family, if you can't take care of yourself and work out yourself.
And even improve the gym. So for me, it was $2,000 a month, just around $2,000 a month extra just from the one pay increase, And it's not like if members think like, oh, I'm taking $2,000 home now and I'm going like partying. Nah. Now, when bumper plates break, I can replace them. Like, over my 9 years, there's been times where like we needed shit and I couldn't get it. This just allows you as the owner to breathe a little easier and get shit done when it needs to get done. So like, I showed the members the value too, literally with new equipment. We needed new ropes. They were like literally like dental floss at one point. The Rogue ropes, we let it go. We pushed it to the limit. We got all new stuff. We did this. I wanted to show them, look, this is where the money's going. They were so pumped. They still are. And I took your advice from Affiliate U that said, I never did this before, where when you buy something, like put it on your Instagram story, like put the box and like, guess what this is. Now I'm constantly doing that, and people see where the money's going, and I could breathe easy. Something breaks, I could fix it. It's fantastic. It's a no.
Yeah, and I want to say though, Mike, like, that's awesome. But I also want to say, like, it's okay for affiliate owners to pay themselves more as well.
I did pay myself a little more.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. I don't need that much couch. Yeah, $2,000 a month. Keep in mind, this is a monthly $2,000. That I'm not a rich guy. That's awesome.
Well, and it's every new member that comes in is also paying your current rate now. So it's
right.
$2,000 from past members, but also for a lot of affiliate owners, changing their current rate, it impacts them as well. Were you going to say something, Eric?
Yeah, I was going to say just, by the time we made that change, we're a few months into Affiliate U, and I don't know if you guys are like me. I pretty much tell everyone everything that I'm doing all the time. And so at that point, they're probably sick and tired of me hearing me like, hey, we're a really exciting time. I'm working with Affiliate U, and this place is going to be even like greater than you can imagine. And just that price increase right out of the gate, it essentially covers Affiliate U now. And so So I think they're excited because they see that you're putting in a lot of time and effort and investment into this business because you really do care. And so they won't bat an eye too. And then right out of the gate, that price increase alone is investing back into your gym and something
they
like
see the effort. They see you making effort, and then they see you.
Yeah.
There probably is another side of this. Like, don't raise your rates and do nothing. Don't just sit there like a schlub. Like, we're all making some sort of an effort to make our business better. Whether it's not just buying new equipment, it's just taking this course Affiliate U. Like, we're making the effort. So we have something to base the rate increase off of, and people see that. They comment all the time to me about it.
And they don't question, like, yes, I roll up in a Range Rover now and I have diamond watches and necklaces, but that's not the point.
You take off the diamonds when you coach, right? You take them off, Eric? Bling, I think. Bling is the term you're looking for.
Yes, that's it, the bling.
Well, for me, it was even kind of to make it a little bit more personal. It's like now my take-home pay can almost pay for the full amount of my two kids' daycare. And so it's just thinking like, what can this actually do for my life? Daycare is very expensive.
Yeah, no, and again, I think, like I said, don't raise rates and be like, I got to put 100% back in. Bring value to your affiliate, certainly. But also, I mean, I don't know what the average income is in the United States these days. I'd put it at probably 30 to 40,000, right? It's probably, lower than we think. But you guys, as affiliate owners, are changing lives. Like you said, if you have Mike and Rachel, who's someone that's been there less than a year, realizing that, like, I think oftentimes as affiliate owners, we get so caught up in the day-to-day of running a box. What programming should we do? And the pull-up bars need to be clean. We forget, like, the impact we're actually having. And affiliate owners deserve to be compensated for that. And not losing sight of what Eric said, yes, our goal with Affiliate U is when you come in to help you cover the cost of that. And then everything from there is gravy. Currently, when you sign up, your coaches immediately get involved in product development for a year of improving them as coaches. Your members are going to see that, and they're going to feel that. You don't always have to give them like, hey, we bought new Echo bikes, we got new jump ropes, we got rid of that disgusting couch that had everyone's DNA on it and got a new one, right? We
actually did that, yeah.
You did that? You did that? Yeah, like no one sits on that because it's gross. But we're also leveling up our coaches. So you're going to be safer. This is going to be more effective. It's going to be, better results and quicker. So I think that's important. Anyone else want to add anything about their rate increase before we wrap up? Anyone? Micah, Rachel, you guys have anything? You've been a little quiet over there. You're the newest ones on the block.
The only thing that it just goes back to having the agreements. When we talk to people about it, it just creates a layer of accountability where, mentally someone is, hey, I'm in this for 6 months. I'm in this for 12 months. We talk a lot about, obviously fitness is measurable and observable, and we talk about the data behind everything and the different levels of accountability between you and your friend or the connection with the community. And that's just one more layer that really goes a long way in creating long-term fitness in our community. So it was well received. It was a really good move. Completely worth it. Completely worth it.
Yeah, and we didn't dig into the 4-week billing, but that's another thing that you could do as an affiliate owner. Outside of the United States, it's standard practice, 4-week billing versus monthly. And most of the time, like you guys have said, no one cares. Everybody's just like, okay. And we recommend actually really doing all of this at once. Like, hey, here's the rate increase. We're implementing contracts and switching to 4-week billing. Just like ripping off a Band-Aid, setting the tone for the next year. And rather than, peppering your members with 3 different emails over the course of the year where they feel like, hey, you guys are always doing something, this one-time thing, and it sets you up for long-term success.
Yeah.
You can add to that, Brian. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was actually going to thank Eric for his words and reinforcing the contracts and tiered memberships, because I haven't yet done that, but that's what I plan to do this coming January. And so it's just helpful to hear that it is something that is needed, and it reinforces that positive change.
Yeah, you've had a successful rate increase as you've spoken about. No doubt you'll have the same success there. And obviously hit me up if you need help with any of that. But Ann, you want to wrap us up?
Yes, I was two things. One, I'm in the same boat as Brian, and my goal is to get to the contracts and the 4-week billing cycle for January. A couple of weeks ago, you had done a post, Jason, and that's what really hit home for me. You said, the same affiliate owners who think they have the strongest communities are the ones that are scared to raise their rates. Something along those lines.
If you're going to wrap this up, let's take it home with a profound quote by me, Ann. I love it.
You are a fearless leader. It really hit home to me because that is us.
You guys, over and over. I mean, from day one, you, Bernie, Steven, community, and you're not alone. That's every affiliate. And you're right. Like, it's like, well, let's raise rate $10, like Mike said. Oh, no, they'll leave. How great's your community then? It's weak.
You're absolutely right. You are 100% right.
I've talked about it. Like, I go to jiu-jitsu. I think we got a $30 increase last year. And I have great friends at jiu-jitsu, don't get me wrong, but it's not a community, at least for me. For many of them, it probably is. For me, it's my hobby. I go there and I was like, all right, that's what I've got to pay. Like, and I think you'll have, that's probably a lot of your members, but then the ones that it is that community for, oh man, $10 is they're probably like, oh man, it's like Pretty Woman. Like, you could have had me for $3,000, right? So, so anyway, this has been great. Once we stop recording, will you guys stick around for a minute because we got to let everything upload on the side there? And like I said, if anybody's listening wants to hit up any of these 6 boxes, you guys cool with me plopping in your name, affiliate, your personal phone numbers, all that good, your address, Mike? All that good stuff. Sure. All right, we'll put all that.
My social correct.
Yeah, social security number. Drop it in there.
Here and in Wawa's everywhere.
Your Bitcoin address, whatever we need. But stick around. You guys have been great. I'm really proud of you guys. You're doing it awesome, and can't believe 0. 0 is astounding.
And thank you, Mr. Ackerman. Thank you guys for what you're doing, because I mean, to have somebody that specializes in CrossFit to help you build your CrossFit. I mean, if you're listening and you own a CrossFit and you haven't signed up, you said something to me early on, and it was like a punch in the gut.
Get out of that Facebook group.
But no, you said it. You said it to me. You said, if you can't afford this, then you don't have a viable business. And I was like, wow, you know what? You're right. I want to get to a place where I can afford this, and when I want to do things, and I have gotten there. I found a way to sign up. Best thing I've done in my 9 years. So thank you guys for what you're doing. It's amazing.
We'll go out there, and I will send you your check in the mail. Thank you.